The likelihood that my opinion changes anything except someone else's opinion of me, and most likely in a negative way, seems accurate. There's something both liberating and frustrating about that. Liberating because it can reduce or even eliminate the incorrect assumption we can have about our own importance. Frustrating because it can make us feel like, why bother? Is it even worth voicing my opinion at all? Sharing our opinion serves more purposes than just adding fuel to the ever-growing problem of a global meltdown of public discourse. It can help us clarify our thinking. It helps us connect with people, which is something that's sorely lacking at the moment. Plus, we just have a basic human need to be heard and understood. More on that in a future video. Someone questioned whether they or we should even venture to say anything at all, given the possibility of serious repercussions. I think that is probably a more common way of thinking than we might realize. I look at it differently. Maybe our opinions are like a good garden-grown herb. They require patience and care to cultivate, and they only need to be added when they can enhance the flavor of a well-cooked dish. Don't waste your good stuff on crap. We need to maybe show a little more restraint with our opinions. Treat them as something precious rather than some cheap currency to be spent everywhere. Restraint can be a very difficult task to master. It requires understanding both of the situation you might be tempted to respond to and understanding of your own self. The buffer that lies between our reactive impulse and our self-control can be paper thin. We're trying to tame that age-old human instinct to react immediately, to defend, to protect. To protect what? The understanding part is multifaceted too. You have to be able to read the room, read yourself, gauge the stakes, predict how your words will land, and do all of this in an often highly charged environment where your emotions may be flooding the system, like trying to perform cataract surgery after drinking 10 Red Bulls. And add to that, restraint is invisible when it works. No one sees the opinion you didn't share, the correction you didn't make, the argument you didn't start. You get no credit for self-control, but your worst moments of reactivity get remembered for years. It's not easy, restraint. It's always a choice you make in real time, often with incomplete information and with pressure. Discernment is noted as a spiritual gift. And I believe this. It seems to be a thing that many people lack the ability to get a handle on. I do believe it can be cultivated, but it's not something that comes easy. It's something beyond just intellectual capacity or emotional intelligence. The ability to perceive what's going on beneath the surface of situations and people, including yourself. Cultivating that can be a challenge. You have to learn to sit still, be uncomfortable, resist the urge for immediate clarity or action. We live in a culture of immediacy. We want everything right now. Discernment can require you to just hang out with uncertainty long enough to perceive what's actually true or relevant, rather than just what is convenient and comfortable. It can also be very humbling. It can show us how wrong our first impressions were, or our second, or third, or how much we project. It can reveal how our own experiences and biases can alter what we see. Some people just don't have the stomach to take being wrong repeatedly about things or about themselves. And like restraint, discernment can be invisible. The problems you don't create, the words you don't say, the judgments you don't make, all as a result of discernment can be mistaken for indecisiveness or an overabundance of caution. Developing sensitivity to something larger than your reactions and preferences takes a kind of surrender that goes against our natural instincts. I come back to this often, but pride, which is ever present and oh so abundant, stands firmly between humans and letting go, trusting, self-awareness, all these things which can help us see more clearly. Pride disguises itself as strength, as dignity, as self-respect. It's that little, albeit loud, voice that says, letting go is weakness. Admitting you're wrong diminishes you. Trusting makes you vulnerable. But it's a fear. It's a fear of being seen as foolish, of not being in control, of finding out that you might not be exactly who you thought you were. So we keep defending things that aren't worth defending, building walls against the very things and people that can help us the most. And pride never runs out. There's always more. Almost every single description of human failing in Scripture can be attributed to pride. It's as if Scripture is trying to teach us something. And throughout history, for that matter, I've come to think that very few instances of human failing cannot be explained by pride. Look at any relationship that's fallen apart, organizations that implode, any leader who's self-destructed or just failed miserably. The inability to admit wrong, to apologize, to consider maybe you don't know everything. Pride. It even corrupts things that we consider good things. Generosity. Generosity becomes being seen as generous. Justice becomes about being right rather than being just. Even humility can become a source of pride. You might not say it, oh, look how humble I am, but many people show it. It can corrupt the integrity of any virtue if we aren't vigilant. Going back to the start of this, we can see how pride most definitely has a say in how people too eagerly share opinions. I need to be heard on this subject. I need to be seen as having insight. I need to correct this. I need to show that I know the truth. Pride makes us feel like our perspective is so valuable that it simply must be shared. Pride tricks us, convinces us that silence is the same as invisibility, and invisibility in this current cultural landscape is akin to death for many people. Then when our opinions are rejected or ignored or discounted, pride is what gets wounded. Then it causes us to double down, to argue harder, to argue more, trying to prove our worth through force. Back to the herb metaphor. Pride is what makes us waste our good stuff on crap. We can't bear the thought of our ingredients going unnoticed. We are cooking for our ego rather than for the meal to share lovingly. Pride makes us think our silence is a waste. Wisdom knows it's often a gift. Think about it.